Friday, May 2nd. Hi, welcome to my episode.
Hi!
We are not fond of IXLs, which is groundbreaking news. So, as far as discussion thing goes, it's going to depend on you guys and how well we have done reading, and I have things for us to discuss, but if you have no idea what's going on, discussion does no good. But we'll sort of get to that. If you are wanting to do the Kings Island trip, the permission slip and all that is due by Monday. It is the same day as the band, choir, orchestra trip. We just get to have our own bus, and we trust you a bit more, so our check-in process is a little bit different. Plus, I hang out with you and stuff like that if you want. Try not to be creepy, but you're welcome to. But that is due Monday, so we can get that turned in from there. That is up to you if that's the thing you're wanting to do. Jude.
Is it okay if I didn't read the epilogue? Like, I read the whole book, just not that book.
I mean, eventually, hopefully you'll read the epilogue.
I'll read that.
Yeah. Now, as far as today's discussion goes, as long as you've gotten to the pseudo side, that should help.
Yeah.
Hi.
Should I ask my father if he wants to ride the bike?
He can't ride the bus, it was just a joke. We don't have enough room for it. But it was awful nice of you to try to torture that poor man.
Wait, were we actually supposed to read?
So again, Monday, I have already put up our schedule for next week to help you out. We have test over a whole book on Monday. I can answer questions again at the end. I don't think there's really confusing things that are going to happen. I think we'll cover most of those things when we talk today, but we'll find out here in a moment. But we're going to get back to this gospeling. I will take questions from you guys. If there are spoilers today, it's okay. If you spoil a thing today, that is on other kids for not having got to the end. So we're going to go through all of the questions you may have. I will be talking about the end part of the book. If you've not gotten to the end part of the book, there may be little bits of spoilers that go into it, but I don't think it's going to ruin things, but we'll find out as we go through and do a talking thing from there. Stabs!
Can I spoil something?
Are you just wanting to, just right off the top of the bat? What's up, Stabs?
Suicide means pretending to die.
Oh, the pseudocide? Yeah, we're going to get to that here in just a moment. But we're going to talk about why he does it.
It was so Sigma for him to.
So Sigma.
Yeah.
Info?
Put in headphones and legs.
Sure. Uh-huh.
Can I ask you questions for the class?
Sure.
Raise your hand if you didn't read last night.
Elena, you were
Still smarter.
Get out of here. You already asked
Bill, why would I do that? I have a life.
Raise your hand if you still know what happened.
Okay.
Still stop.
Raise your hand if you wrote the test. So again, we'll get to the reading, not reading, and discussion and stuff like that in a moment. I'm just telling you again, the sermon I've actually pushed back to Tuesday on the off chance that, you know, some of you may not be reading. I thought that reading may be more important than the sermon, so I figured I would push it back a little bit, so instead of due Mondays, due Tuesday. Those of you who have already submitted, awesome, thank you. That works for me, and I'm more than happy to start going through them. Those of you who have not submitted, again, at some point you'll want to go in there and find the thing. So I moved it so it is officially due Tuesday. Benta.
What was that thing that said gospel homework 2 and then it said like playlist?
Yeah, we didn't end up getting to it. We had too many issues.
Yeah, these issues.
I wasn't going to point
Yeah, but I
fingers.
wasn't
I
There's
didn't.
a lot of fingers I could
I
point.
pointed back at the banana.
Hi.
Can we start the conversation?
That's what I'm trying to get to, but kids keep raising their hand.
Oh, under discussion.
Given I know it's not quite the same as Outsiders when we had deaths, but I kind of figured kind of counts with his pseudo side and his dying and stuff like that. I mean, kind of he dies off, but I figured I'd throw that up as a little reminder for you. Oh, by the way, my regular kids are getting to the death of Johnny this weekend.
Yay!
Not that you should be, one, it's creepy that you all yell yay. Two, don't spoil it for them. They have been struggling with the responsibility of reading almost as much as you guys. Not quite as much as you guys, but they have been struggling, and so we're going to get to that this weekend. So just letting you know, don't be the kids that ruin things. All right, so one, as far as book goes, we're past the point where I judge you and stuff like that. Here's just me trying to understand to help figure out things. How many of you guys have finished book, like completely, not counting, I mean, one, you'll want to read epilogue, but all right. Then, how many of you guys, including have finished, have at least gotten to the pseudo side where he makes that big decision? Including people, if you've finished, you've gotten to the pseudo side. If you've not finished, but you've gotten to the pseudo side. How many of you guys have not read anything since I stopped reading yesterday? Okay. And so it's one of those things that just gives me an idea for then those of you who have read. One of the first ones is Beta Gold. I'm sorry, I can't keep doing that. Beta Gold.
Beta Gold.
I tried. It's just not in my.
No.
It's not. Now that we know who she is, it's not how she pronounced her name. But I was trying to do it to placate you. But she pronounced her name Beta Gold. And so with that one, we now know technically who she is / was, and we'll get into all that here in a moment, where I almost said something to give it away when he was at Larry Fest, because that's where he first meets her. And how does he meet her at Larry Fest? Yeah, that was the toothbrush lady, when like the old grandma who dropped the toothbrush, and then she was like, "Oh, your mom would be so proud of you." I almost wanted to be like, "It's ironic," but I was like, and I didn't want to say anything to ruin it, but yes. Lava.
I hate Beta Gold. She's very insecure and she just wants to be the star of the show.
Preach.
Yeah,
I hate Beta Gold.
it goes back and forth. Yes, when it was happening, I was the same way. I was definitely Team Josh, and the whole Beta Gold was awful. But I will also say, now having been an adult and a parent and a teacher for years, I understand her thinking. Especially now because when this happened, social media wasn't a thing. Like, this was 8 years before Twitter started. It was 10 years before Facebook. It was 18 years before TikTok. I'm like, there was no social media. It was only social media was you had to go to websites and go on discussion boards like I had you do. So the idea of this anonymous person who has such influence is scary. As an adult, especially with how the world is today, influencing youth can be a scary thing for adults. Unfortunately, I don't think that's necessarily where she was coming from. But I understand why people supported her. But yeah, she's just not the best person all around. Lava again.
Change is just scary to people who believe they're empowered.
That is also very true. It's why I fear the student revolution every day.
Why do you bring it on the board?
Because I reset it. I erased everything. Sassy child. Hi, Caroline.
Alright, so what I really want to do is give Beta Gold a big hug, but in my right hand I'll have a dagger and I'll stab her in the back.
You said that on
So,
yes!
also realize, so I'm going to keep getting to you guys. With the whole thing with Josh, why did he want to remain anonymous? Right, the opinions and filters. Realize, this whole book, though, is through one person's filter. That person's filter is Josh. So you're getting it from his viewpoint, so he makes Beta Gold out to be a bad guy. But if you saw this from her viewpoint, it would be, there is this anonymous person who is trying to radicalize and influence kids and is not telling them who they are, and for all we know, things are going to switch at the last minute. So it's one of those things where you have to realize you're seeing it through one person's eyes. If you saw this story through someone else's eyes, she's not the enemy. She was trying to do a good thing. She was trying to be a journalist. And there's actually a sequel to this book, which I have over here somewhere, which was, he actually ran for president.
What?
Wait, that's a door?
Surprise! And there's a sequel to it called Vote for Larry, where he tried to run for president way back in, like, I think 2000, 2004. He was too young. He couldn't run for president because you had to be 35 to be elected, and he was not that old yet. But he was able to, like, start a whole grassroots thing again. We find out a whole bunch about Beta Gold in here, and you find out, like, how she was able to track him down, and you get, like, all this background stuff that goes into it. Because it turns out she had, like, a computer programmer son who did all the tracking down for her and stuff like that. Abby?
But if, like, you're in Beta Gold's shoes, would you feel so far as to, like, physically hunt the person down?
With me personally, no. Do I understand someone doing it? Yes. I mean, and I'm also split where I really like Josh's thinking. Like if you paid attention to me this year and you paid attention to Josh, that Venn diagram overlaps a lot, like my thinking and his thinking. But I'm also an adult, and that changes my thinking a little bit. Lucas?
This is not about this, but do you plan like to wear that shirt for a specific part of the chapter?
Sometimes, but not always. I decided this morning which shirt to wear, but it was struggling because my regular kids have not been keeping up on their reading as much also, so I didn't want to spoil a thing. And I thought this one would be a good shirt to wear. Alina?
I just wanted to say I would pay $3,000 to use Larry's toothbrush.
That is 4 levels of creepy. Thanks for letting me know.
That's fine.
Caleb.
What are you talking about?
So there's also another sequel.
There is, you're right.
Yeah, it's called Larry and the Meaning of Life.
Yep.
I saw the website.
Yeah, I'm not as fond of that one, but that is where you actually, they give you a bit more background and down the line of what happens to his stepdad. Because his stepdad ends up, to give you guys a little spoiler, his stepdad ends up quitting the ad agency because of the whole fallout from all of this, and he actually becomes a farmer. And ends up getting back in touch with nature and stuff like that, and he was like, hey, and he ends up getting back in touch with Josh, and things end up changing over time. And I didn't like the third one just because by then I thought his story had been told and they just kept going. But the first one I really liked because it sort of changed the world, and then the second one I liked because he's still trying to be good, and then the third one, Hadley. Jude.
So, I don't think Beta Gold, whatever, was that long. I think it was more the people that just kept, like, the news that ruined it. Like, she wasn't wrong for that. It was just what people did after that.
That I would absolutely agree with. I mean, but that, is that not what would happen today? Like, is that not just our society? Where as soon as they find out, they try to commercialize him, and they ruin everything he stood for, which is what I think hurt him more, which I think was understand why he wanted to be anonymous, because he didn't want to be famous. He didn't want to have all these endorsements. He wanted people to embrace ideas. And I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I like this book with your guys' age. Like, of all the years I've been teaching, you guys now, this Gen Z / going into Alpha, seem to be wanting to change the world in positive ways. Like, your overall social media seems to have more positivity to it than previous generations have. As much as that might surprise you, trust me, you guys still have more positivity to what you seem to be trying to do. And it seems like this is a thing that you guys would embrace if it happened today. Eden?
At the beginning of the office note, it says that Janet got given like the transcript
Mhm.
or like the proto script for this.
Mhm.
Then what are the other 2 books? Are those also from that dude, or is this just from Janet?
That was the two of them working again together.
And
So
also,
once this one ended up taking off and they ended up staying in contact, it stayed with her name, but he ended up giving and that one, this first one he wrote. The other ones they sort of worked together on. And so
are we allowed to work on our gospel right now, or do you want us to do this?
you can do both, as long as I get to yell at you at times, that works for me. Caroline?
I really want to take Beta Gold out to lunch and then slip potassium cyanide
Are
in
you
her
just
food.
finding different ways to kill her without her knowing?
We're allowed to do our
That's where therapy comes in.
We're allowed to do our sermon.
So, with Beth, have our opinion, so those of you who have not read, let's give you some spoilers on this one.
Yes.
What?
I hate that so much.
What bombshell does Beth drop on Josh?
He get back
I don't know.
Is she
Todd?
like gay or something?
She gets back with
Actually,
Todd.
Stabby?
She's leaving?
One, that she does decide to just leave and just take off. One,
Please.
Josh,
She said.
That they've liked each other, or Beth liked Josh for a while. but
Since
she
ninth
never
grade.
told him.
yeah, that she has had a crush on him for years. And the fact she's like, why didn't you ever do anything? Now, of course, she tells him this after she said, I want nothing to do with you, and I am now leaving because of this whole Josh Larry thing.
That's why I hate her so much.
And
Why would
so,
you do that?
But is it not total teenage girl? Can you not?
Hey, not even I would do that.
I would not do that.
I'm proud of some of
I didn't
you.
even know.
Jude, why are you wiggle fisting?
I would just kill Josh.
Yes, I know, with your potassium chloride, whatever it is when he's not paying attention.
Potassium cyanide.
Yes.
I don't understand. Like, if she had a crush on Josh/Larry, why would you like
Let me read.
God? I mean,
Exactly.
I don't understand why people
I
hate
hate everyone. Let me read.
Are you asking me why teenage girls are confusing?
I don't know, but like people, the other people I know,
It's
they'll
'cause
be
she's
like,
a
oh,
bot
I have
now.
a crush on this person, but I'm dating this person. I get so confused.
I mean,
That's
Plus,
so real.
the part that we had just left off yesterday where he tried to kiss her, and then she was like, oh no, I'm with Todd And again, I think she's just a confused kid at the time. I mean, she got better. She plays a big role in his life later on. And when you get to like the sequel and we find out she's the one that pulls him back out of hiding. And they do this, like, they don't quite get together, but they're still friendly-ish. Not Zeus friendly. Not Zeus friendly. Sorry.
You're
recording yourself.
4K.
And I said not Zeus friendly, but yeah, I mean, he does eventually forgive her, but it's not an easy thing to do. It was quite the bomb drop. Yes, Elena.
Wait. If we take Bedical to the therapy, right? And we're like, okay, this is like an educational film. So she's on this couch and she's on this couch. She handed her remote. Okay, you can press play now. She presses play, and the couch drops. Like it's a pitfall. She drops. There's spikes at the bottom,
Are we
and
back
she
to doing
dies.
her creative killing?
You're so
Proud
creative.
of you.
Thank you.
No.
Madison.
Guess what?
What?
No, just take a guess.
Chicken butt?
No.
What?
I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I told you this. I'm just so confused.
What if I bring Beta Gold up to the moon and then I push her off the moon and then she falls?
Wow, you guys
onto
are
the-
really coming up with creative ways to kill this poor lady.
Poor.
Not poor.
I mean, okay, she's not really poor anymore, but anyway. Binta!
So like, on the killing stuff, guys, there's something in the world called a gun.
That's not fun though.
But it's not as painful for
That's not one of my 75 items.
Okay.
Good
The
boy.
big
Oh,
The creepy one.
Henry,
My gum isn't blowing bubbles.
Because it's
Yeah,
not bubble gum.
No,
are you guys just trying to find ways for me to stop calling on you?
Yeah,
So, as you guys pointed out, are you raising your hand? Is it-
What about you do our
artificial flavor.
Bubble gum.
With Josh's life post-reveal, that's why he comes up with his pseudo side, because his whole life sort of falls apart and he gets all grumpy and upset, and no longer do people care about his message, they just care about him. What, Jude?
Does he? I feel like in the second book, does he like fully recover from like being like mediaized?
Yes, and so, again, spoilers going into second book. He ends up, Josh is smart, and he ends up not going to college, and ends up just going and living, he lived in Colorado for years, and just took a fake name and just worked like at a basic, sorry, don't wash my lips either. And then ended up going and working at just a store, and he was working there for years, until eventually she comes back and Beth tracks him down and ends up hiring a private investigator to pull him out of hiding and getting him to come back into the public view, but it was not an easy thing to do. But, I mean, I'm not sure he recovers, but again, he does talk about therapy a lot. Apparently, therapy can help you get through a lot of things, and that being one of them. Hi, Finfo.
Why are we allowed to read this book?
Because it's...
school appropriate.
Yes, that's why there's parts I don't read out loud to you. I'm sorry, there is a
letting us read it?
class you can take that will also cover some of these things that happen. But you don't have to keep pointing to me. I know the book. I'm aware of it. Yeah, they're talking about the bits in the book that are...
About no, creepy.
Yes.
Tiny comment. The reason he
It's
picks
fan-
the book
it's a
is
fan-
because only responsible, smart kids that can handle it will read, and the other kids, they
I
can't
mean,
handle it. So
you
they're
don't see
not
my
gonna
regular kids reading this book.
Yeah, because regular kids are stupid.
Not quite where I was going. Did you see how many kids raised their hand along with Madison in this class?
Wait, what?
So this would be his whole pseudo side, where he comes up with the idea of pseudo meaning fake and then side meaning death. Josh doesn't want to actually kill himself, he just does not want to be part of everything again. Here's where him kind of being an orphan pays off for him.
I love
Because
being an orphan.
both his mom and dad are gone, he just has stepdad, there's no real insurance that's out on him, and so because of that he was able to take his money, fake his death, and then just disappear. And that was why, if you remember at the intro, at the very beginning of the book, when Janet was talking to him at the grocery store, and she's like, hey, if this book comes out, all of this starts up again, and people will know you are alive. This was his way of announcing that he was not officially dead, but just in hiding. And that was his way of sort of putting it out there. Because he still wanted his message out there, he just didn't want it to focus on him. Jude?
So does like he gain his following back because only the people that like actually cared would find his book?
Back and forth. Again, I don't want to ruin too much into the second book because some people will be interested and want to get into it. But
Yeah, I'm gonna read it.
it goes national because he does run for president, and so it sort of
yeah, so
stirs
it
things
counts.
up again. Correct. But the big thing is when he runs for president, he can't win. But there's no law that stops you from being in the running. So what he would do was go to like the debates and still bring up topics that making the other people have to then argue and stuff like that. And that was his way of trying, and that's how he sort of brought things back up again. But he went into it saying, I have no plan to be president because I'm not old enough. And so like people knew that, but again, kids followed him. I mean, he has a very strong personality for the most part. Oh, you know.
It's like when, though, I think, it was like these nuts or something got like a couple thousand votes for the election in some states.
The write-in joke votes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yes. And that would, same thing would happen, but not so much the joke vote. Are you playing with your hair, dear?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you for finding out you have hair. Caroline, am I going to regret calling you and then not calling you again?
So I think we should get Beta Gold a therapist.
Yeah,
A
except,
therapist is secretly a robot with laser eyes.
there you go.
And the
That's why I know that role. The problem is, she does not feel she needed therapy at all. She was pretty happy with her life.
We suddenly can't kidnap her and force her to have a therapist.
That's not therapist, that's murder. It's okay. You can talk to Benta, he's processing his issues also.
It's so simple.
Right, processing issues. Hi, Jude.
So I don't think Peter's mean. I think he's just trying to be a rational dad, and he just wants to have a job, and he can't like comprehend the idea that Josh could change the world by getting rid of emotionalism.
I mean, in real life, for the most part, with Peter, again, as I said, Peter changes after this. Like, this was the thing that changed his life. Peter was that person who was corporate America. He was running this ad agency. It was about as corporate as you can get, which is the opposite of Josh. But when Josh stole those files from him, that basically ruins Peter's career because you can't have stuff like that happening. And at the moment, yes, I think Peter was going through a lot of anger and processing of issues and stuff like that. And again, I still don't think Peter's a bad person, but being mean to kids, I'm not always real fond of myself. Lava.
I think Peter was trying to do the right thing, he just went the wrong way.
Good. He was paving the road to hell with good intentions, which is that phrase meaning that you're trying to do the right thing, but you mess things up as you try to do it. Yeah, I did, because it's a classic saying. And sometimes I have mature classes. Not this year, but sometimes.
Hey,
Says the kid yelling over me. Hi, Eden.
talking?
Peter tried to find better. If he knew they were classified, then shouldn't he have hid them like better so that nobody could them? Because he didn't hide them well enough because Josh got them.
Back up to lava pointing at you. Are we blaming the victim? Is that the thing we're doing all of a sudden? And you're like, oh, he was asking for it by wearing those files out in public where everyone could see it.
Oh.
Uh-huh. This feels like we're trying to do that whole attacking the victim when girls get attacked. You're like, oh, she should have been. You're doing the same thing. Peter was a victim. He was in his own house. Why would you feel the need to protect files in your own house from people? Unless your son is the one coming after you.
But they were classified.
Right, so you don't put them on your front porch. You put them in.
I thought.
No, you have to lock it in like a safe.
I thought
No, you
classified
don't
files,
lock
like
it in
classified
the safe.
files of the government, like they hide them super well.
They are. This wasn't for the government. This was just his
I
business.
thought all classified files were supposed to be hid like super well.
No, not necessarily. It just means that you don't put them out there for public use. Evan,
What if he changed his name to Obama and then got like 1 billion votes?
look at that. I made a mistake. Caleb,
There's a part that I didn't understand. How did he jump off a bridge and still survive?
because
He rolled the bridge.
He didn't
Pseudo
jump off.
side.
He threw his clothes in the
that's where he fakes it. And that's where he parked the bike, and then he made it look like he Gesundheit. And that's when he left all the evidence, and then he changes his clothes, and then he goes. I forget what name he used when he did it too.
He did
Gil?
Gil.
I've forgotten about Gil.
Obama.
And so that's when he went and changed his name to Gil, and was like, then he's like, hey, a person just. So he never actually jumps. He just sets it up to look like someone jumped because he was setting the scene. Elena.
So you better go, right? Or you're talking to her, you're like, okay.
Oh wait, I apologize. I meant
No,
to say Stabby.
no, please.
I was gonna say, I think Elena deserves another chance.
Oh, then I apologize for calling on you too.
Mr. Romeo, please.
Okay. If I disapprove.
Okay. Is it okay if I do something about killing Buttergold?
No, that would cost you points.
Okay, then I won't.
You should still say it though.
Yeah, everyone else says so. Weird. I'm aware you guys do not like her. You have made that abundantly clear. I pick up on your very subtle clues. Hi, Finfo again.
Okay, I have two separate questions.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Have we gotten past the part? Are we better now? Okay. There's a reason I don't read parts of it out loud.
So, did Betagold deliberately try to ruin his life?
Yeah.
No, remember, well, it depends. I mean, when she first outed him, remember, this was before we had real internet. So all she knew was a name and a house. She had no idea how old he was, what he looked like, any of that. And for all she knew, she was going to show the door, and it was going to be some guy with like a neck beard who was like, I kill kids for fun. And so she had no idea who was on the other side. And when she was like, oh, you're just a teenager, it completely caught her off guard.
Yeah.
But she already had the news crews with her because she had identified this major person. I don't think that was her plan. It was just the side effect.
And then also, did he get kicked out of his house, or?
No, I mean, him and Peter did not get along for a while, but he did not get kicked out.
Okay.
Peter's not that mean. Peter was just angry. Hi, Lava.
It's the second time that she tried to track him down that makes me not like Betagold.
Yeah, I would.
The second time was totally selfish.
I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I defend her original idea. I cannot defend her as a person.
Like you're selling off the toothbrushes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Selling off the
That's why she
toothbrushes.
doesn't need therapy. She has money. If you're rich, you don't need therapy.
Says who?
No,
That's
one
just
doesn't.
rich.
Ever
You
heard
know,
of
my
that
family is rich.
I'm
I
rich
probably
in the
need
love of
therapy.
children.
No.
Hi, Eden.
Do you think that Josh wouldn't have done the pseudo-side if he didn't have that homework assignment because he found out the words in the homework assignment? So do you think he would have instead made the other decision instead?
That's a good question. It's one of those things we worry like the alternate timeline of life. Like what would have happened? Like what would have happened for him if he had not had that assignment that night and had that idea?
So schoolwork technically did save his life.
It's weird how things work. Did you just say schoolwork saved his life?
Yeah, because that was schoolwork,
I
right?
like your thinking.
That's why
That
I
is our takeaway from this. Homework saves lives.
No,
Thank you, Eden. I now know our new tagline.
I'm gonna prove you wrong.
That's what your outro should be for all your videos. For the rest of the
Homework
year.
saves lives. See you tomorrow.
But what if you
No, the video's not over.
Okay, this is a tiny question that can be used by any discussion. Can we make a sign for like small comment and then like comment? Like,
Not a bad idea.
Because
I
like,
got the
sometimes
yap
I just have
comment,
a tiny
yo.
comment for something.
You just want to throw a thing in?
Yeah.
I can understand. Do you have an idea?
No. Do you have like?
I'll take it under consideration.
Bro,
Like a short
You
thing
can
and
give
then
everybody
open it up
like
with a big
cards.
Yeah.
Like double-sided cards.
So which one does that mean? Does that mean yap or small comment? So you could do
Small
yap.
rapping comments.
You can just do normal or what, like small?
Yeah.
Ooh, if you just do like little fingers, that means just quick small comment.
Oh, it's a baby shark.
Hey, I already said
I'll
that.
eat
Or you could do like singing the song.
I was like me, like
That's
singing
crazy.
the
I'm always
song.
open to
And
new
then you
ideas.
could- And then you could
Normal
do five.
thing, small thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm willing to roll with that
And
one.
then yap thing.
and then yeah.
So then, like, if it's a small thing, that means you just get like one quick thing you're gonna say.
Yeah.
So let's test it out. Caleb?
What if you like hold up your book for one of them just so that it's easier or something?
Which one would that be?
I don't know. Like a yap comment because the book does a lot of yapping.
Wow.
Look, what do you expect?
Not wrong. Shots fired, but still. Abby, are you gonna tell me to call on Elena again?
No.
Okay. What's up, Abs?
These two are just my personal opinions. One, I think the toothbrush thing is gross. Nobody should use the toothbrush. And two, I think that should come back.
Like, into his life? She does.
I think they
Do
should
the
get
I mean,
married.
after this one
and then
ends.
have her
Mr.
secret
Brovicast,
Oh.
stop
children.
spoiling it.
I mean, she doesn't. She hates him, and they never see each other again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Henry,
What if we do this for yeah?
Elena. Yes, I see your small comment. That's why I was calling on you. Was your small comment just the fact that you had a small comment?
My small comment was saying
How very meta of you. Baby Shark,
I was gonna say to Henry that we won't have those books. Like,
all
what
the
if
time.
we do a discussion day without books? That's still the tiny comment still applies.
should just do trivia.
See, that's it.
We should have. That would have required you guys to not pull with Madison in class. Apparently that didn't work out so well. Benta,
What if for the yapping comment we do like the Grandma Shark one? Because you know, like grandmas yap a lot.
Yes.
Like
Thank you, Grandma.
My living grandma yaps.
My dead grandma.
Evan.
What if the school killed him because he slipped on his freaking packet, yo?
So page 150, this is when he is meeting with the ad exec. I am curious to see if you agree with what she says, because it felt real and kind of broke my heart.
What?
And this is when Josh, after everything is sort of coming out, and they're trying to recruit him. All right, so I'm going to start on the bottom of page 149. It says, unfortunately, Barbara Walters, famous journalist, had different ideas. After she grilled me on the boxer's briefs debate, when they were trying to figure out what kind of underwear he wears, because that's definitely critical, I realized Larry's philosophy had little place in the interview. During a break in the taping, I approached the show's producer. Hey, why don't you ask me about the Larry clubs across the country? Or what people are doing in their towns to slay the corporate giants? The producer told me that their viewers didn't want to hear about that. They want to know about you. Josh isn't interesting, I responded. Larry's work, that's the story. The producer turned to the crew. Get this! A teenager telling someone with almost 50 years of journalism experience what the story is. They all laughed. Then he turned back to me. You're the story. Just you. People want gossip. People want sizzle. Barbara smiled for the camera, and we resumed the interview. That's the thing that hit me was, is that still true today? That for the most part, people don't want truth, people don't want facts, people want excitement, people want sizzle. And that's what she's saying here is, yeah, the Larry part of your life is true, but that's not the exciting people. People want tea, people want drama. That's what they tune in for, which is what scares me. Amelia?
So I think the person is right, but I agree with John, or not John, the person. Josh, yeah, Josh.
So you say that the producer is correct, but you don't want her to be correct.
Yeah.
So sort of where I was feeling, where I
Well,
feel
I don't think I don't want it. I know that he's right, but I just don't. I agree, but I also agree more with Josh. It's like he's right. It's about Larry not.
I'll be good.
Evan.
I think that like news should be about like